The Proclamation of Rebellion, issued by King George III on August 23, 1775, was a crucial moment in the escalating conflict between Great Britain and its American colonies. This declaration officially labeled the American colonists as traitors and signaled Britain's commitment to suppressing the growing revolution through military force. The proclamation further deepened the divide between Britain and the colonies, pushing many Americans toward the path of independence. Background and context. By mid-1775, tensions between Britain and its American colonies had reached a breaking point. The battles of Lexington and Concord in April marked the beginning of open armed conflict, and in June colonial forces engaged British troops at the Battle of Bunker Hill. Despite these violent clashes, many colonial leaders, including members of the Second Continental Congress, still hoped for reconciliation with Britain. In July 1775, Congress sent the Olive Branch Petition to King George III, expressing loyalty to the Crown while requesting a peaceful resolution to the conflict. However, before the king even received the petition, he had already issued the Proclamation of Rebellion, rejecting any possibility of negotiation and declaring that the colonies were in full revolt against British authority. Content of the proclamation. The Proclamation of Rebellion accused the American colonies of unlawful insurrection and condemned their resistance to British rule. It called on British officials and loyal subjects to suppress the rebellion and restore order. The proclamation also warned that anyone assisting the rebels would be treated as traitors and punished accordingly. By officially recognizing the colonies as being in rebellion, Britain justified military action and increased efforts to crush the revolutionary movement. Impact on the American Revolution. The Proclamation of Rebellion had significant consequences for the course of the American Revolution. It effectively ended any hopes of reconciliation, convincing many colonists that independence was the only viable path forward. In particular, it strengthened the position of radical leaders such as John Adams and Thomas Jefferson, who had long argued that Britain would never grant the colonies fair treatment within the empire. In response to the proclamation, colonial leaders moved toward formal independence. Just a few months later, in early 1776, Thomas Paine published his influential pamphlet Common Sense, which called for complete separation from Britain. By July 4, 1776, the Continental Congress had adopted the Declaration of Independence, officially breaking ties with the British Crown. Conclusion. The Proclamation of Rebellion marked a decisive shift in the American Revolution. By rejecting peaceful overtures and branding the colonists as traitors, King George III solidified support for independence among the American people. The proclamation transformed a colonial resistance movement into a full-scale revolutionary war, ultimately leading to the birth of the United States of America.